Come on, draw 2! PGs! No!
Oh my god, I check you. Come on,
Draw trigger! Draw trigger! Heal trigger, good. Pump it all on Vanguard. Draw trigger, very good. All in! Come on! No, they healed! No, they healed. Do we do it? Yeah, we do it. Let's do it! The legend never dies. Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're gonna go back to JP. This time going to talk about a finalized version of the legend Kagero build. Now, if you have followed me on my live streams, my most recent one was with G-Set 6 on JP, and we spent most of the time playing around with Kagero. Of course, I don't have a lot of pieces on JP, but we're playing with what we have, and this deck I've been having a lot of fun with because it is Overlord, and Overlord is iconic and never ending. So without further ado, let's go into the deck, see how it works, see what cards I've picked, see what cards I would love to try, and go on to the ladder and play a game or two. As we're going into the deck analysis, thank you all so much for supporting the channel. We hit our next milestone. We are at 2,501, past our 2.5k power. So I guess next is 2.6k. Just you know, most Vanguard's 11k, and with Stride you get 15k most of the time. So we're on our way to 2.6k, but I didn't change the target yet just because it's really nice to see that we managed. So that's very cool. So for this deck, how will it work? With the G era, Kagero got 3 different sets of support. We have G-Set 1, which introduced Blade Master, introduced the Cross, introduced Root Flare and Mustafa. With Fighters Collection, we had Double Rare FC, we had the Ace, and with G-Set 6 we got more Overlord with the Legend deck stuff, so Legend stuff. First of all, we're still going to be playing Conroe because Conroe is just really solid. Caramblast 1, retire itself, check for any grade 1 or below. It's just really great because searching PGs is still the way to go. We also have Stride Fighters. But here's Tar, which I really like in this deck. Rearguard Circle GB1 once per turn, Soul Blast 1, Caramblast 1. To activate this, in this turn, you choose one of your other units and gets +4 and a skill. Vanguard Rearguard Circle, when it attacks a Vanguard, check top 5 to add a grade 3 to your hand. Grade 3 Flame Dragon to your hand. So this is nice because, well, you're searching for Stride Fighters, but also the Legend does require discarding a grade 3 Flame Dragon, so this is helping you get that cost. In addition, we do play Break Ride, so if you're on a Break Ride, this can help you search for a Break Ride target. So it's overall just a really solid card. The extra power helps you hit those numbers while not requiring to commit as much, especially early on into the game, or when you're super late into the game and you don't have much resources, so it's good like that. Next we play 2 of the, I forgot the name, but it came out very early on into the game. Rearguard Circle 6k, when this boosts and attack hits, choose your opponent's grade 1, rearguard and retire it, and at the end of the turn, return this to your deck and shuffle. So I really like this card because it does help you proc some strides that you otherwise can't because our main target is not Blade Master. It helps you shuffle back to your deck, so the deck does thin out really quickly because of the major play that we make. So having a unit that goes back to the deck and helps us retire and snipe out pieces is quite nice. Of course, you can still play the Groms if you want. You can still play the 6+5s if you want. Those are still really valid options. I just personally prefer this just to take out some pesky units. And I do see some CBDs and whatnot on the ladder, so getting rid of those 7k relockers are really helpful. Next, we play 4 of the Strike-Ins. I like Strike-In because not all of our grade 3s immediately do something when it's placed or when you stride on top of it. When you're going first, you are still losing an edge because you're still striding second. So the Strike-In does give you a little bit of leeway. You know, you're still damage denying a little bit, but on your grade 3 turn, you can still apply pressure. Even though you're not striding, you do get the extra 5k and a crit. So it's nice like that. Next we play 4 of this. Nahalim. GB1 rear circle. When it attacks, it gets plus 2k if your Vanguard's an Overlord, and the following ability. Sorry, not when it attacks. The following ability, when your grade 4 or greater Overlord attacks, it gets plus 5k. So your Vanguards can actually restand through multiple ways: the Ace, the Legend, just the Break Ride, whatever. And so it does stack. You could get multiple 5ks, but just being able to be an 11k beater is quite nice. And even just a 16k, even if your Vanguard's not restanding, is quite solid. We play 3 of the Balkosity for the counter charge. It synergizes really well with the starter, and we play 2 Berserks. Just because we're not playing a Blade Master focus, even though a lot of the metagame like Grambler or whatever can just dip and you have no front row retire, still being able to having the option to do that against the other matchups, and also being able to just remove back row key pieces is still really nice. Counterblast is not a big issue. Our deck doesn't really spend that much counterblast, so the Berserk Dragon is solid. You play 4 of the Legends. This is your main ride target, GB2. Once per turn, counterblast 1, discard a grade 3 or greater Flame Dragon. And for this turn, it gets plus 15k, plus 1 drive check, plus 1 grade, and draw a card. And the following ability, at the end of the battle, discard 3 cards, restand, and draw 3. In addition, when you place it, Soul Blast 1, Counterblast 1 to check top 5 for a Flame Dragon and add it to your hand. So, which are Flame Dragons? Well, it's harder to see because I don't read Japanese as well, but you just need to memorize it. Like, the PG is a Flame Dragon. You can read it from this text. A lot of your other pieces, this is not a Flame Dragon. This is a Flame Dragon. This is a Flame Dragon. This is not, evidently it's a lizard dude. But itself is a Flame Dragon. Overlord is a Flame Dragon. All the grade 3s are Flame Dragons, so it just really helps that way. And it just helps you draw into pieces, drawn to discard targets, maybe drawn to PGs, that maybe even drawn to heal guards, just because. We play 4 of the Dragonic Overlord, the Break Ride. This card's great because it helps you, well, you generally need to hit into your opponent's grade 2 intercepts anyways, so it's not that bad. And it helps you extend your the Legend plays, because the Legend gives you an extra drive check, right? What Dragonic Overlord, the Break Ride does is when you Break Ride, get plus 10 if it's an Overlord. When it attacks rear guard at the end of battle, counterblast 1, discard 1, stand, and draw 2. So what it does is, generally, it's not that amazing. You're still discarding 1 to draw 2, it's still great. But the Legend gives you 1 extra drive check. So you're drive checking 3, attacking the rear guard, you're restanding, drive checking 3, attacking the Vanguard, restanding, drive checking 3 against the Vanguard. So you have 9 drive checks on that turn, and that is pretty crazy. Is it amazing? It is. I do have a fear of deck out though, and so that does explain some of the choices that we make. You do need GB2 to make this play, so that is something to be careful with. And but when it works really spectacularly, and it definitely shows you the Overlord spirit. And lastly, we play 1 Blade Master just because when you're against some matchups that just don't have resist and stuff. Blade Master is still a very solid option to go into, and you can always search into it because we play 4 of the Stride Fighters. So unfortunately, the grade 1 counter was not out yet because it's pretty good. I do think that's a balance issue, but right now we play with what we have, and that Stride Fighter is more than good enough. Helps you tech into the Blade Master if you wanted to, and even if not, then it's still a Flame Dragon that you can search into and use as the cost for striding, for the Legend, and all that. For the grade 4s, we're playing 1 Harmonics because I'm poor. I think Link Joker is decently popular. CBD is like 1 in 5 games for me. I'm not even playing that often. Season just reset, so it's not really an accurate representation. But it is there, and I do think that hard locks are still in the game, and Harmonics is still a really nice option, especially when you don't have a lot of options. We play 2 Mustafas. Mustafas give us the front row retire when we're not on Blade Master. So it Chief flips something. You could choose to get the counter charge, but it's not the way to go for me most of the time. But just being able to front row retire is solid enough when you're sitting on the Break Ride or the Legend and set up the GB2. We play 1 of this. This is from the Fighters Collection. When a unit is retired from a skill, counterblast 1 to retire 1 more. So generally, you see this as a synergy piece with Blade Master. It is, but you can also synergize with Berserk Dragon. You can also synergize with the 6K. So there are opportunities to use it even if you're not on Blade Master, but it is niche. but it is still something that I choose to use as a one-off. We play one of the on-hit, retire something. Sometimes you don't want to be in GB2, so there's that. We play one of this, the Vortex. Vortex is not as great as it looks because we don't play any Legions. Ideally, I'd like to test the Great and all because it does give cards like this its maximum potential. But even then, even though it only retires one thing because you don't, it retires one per heart. So if you're on any grade 3 in this deck, you're only retiring one on hit. If you're on a Legion, you're retiring 2, and it gets the additional skill of dealing 1 damage and nullifying the trigger effects if your opponents have 4 or less damage. It's still good because when it hits and whatever, you're still flipping something, activating GB2. So just for the sake of activating GB2, it could be better than the unhit, the Zam. Lastly, we play 2 of the Nouveau Express. This is your finishing piece. GB2 on place, Camas 1 G Persona flip, and gets the following 2 abilities. First of all, when this attacks, if your opponent uses a Sentinel, they must discard a grade 3 alongside with it, or it won't proc. And secondly, if you or your opponent is at 5 damage or more, your opponent's triggers effects are nullified, just like the OG Novel. So this card is great. It ends games and shuts down plays. I do think that it's better in a more standalone Blade Master build because you're sniping out front rows and you're just trying to guard restrict and shut down those defensive triggers and going for game. But even then, you know, after your break ride play or even before your break ride plays or whatnot, going to Novel Express is still very threatening. And the one thing I would recommend is paying attention to your opponent's cards, what they're drawing, what they're seeing before choosing to go into Novel. Because if you know your opponent has like a lot of cards in hand and whatnot, then probably just Mustafaing to just get rid of 1 front row intercept is the better play. So that's basically the list. Let's talk about the ride target. Generally speaking, Tar is my ride target for grade 1, grade 2, striking if I'm going first. If I'm going second, don't ride striking because you can stride first and the stride doesn't keep the 5k in the crit. I would go for probably Bellicosity if I was going second, and then depending on the situation, probably going to Dragonic Overlord, into the Break Red, the Legend. Going into Blade Master is also a fair enough play, depending on the matchup, and if you need to speed things up, then just go straight into the Legend, try to draw into PG or whatever that you need to survive, and then go from there. So yeah, Mustafa for stride, maybe the on hits, just set up GB2, and then Novel Express to finish out the game if you can. Ideally, I would like to try out the Ace because we do play like a 8 Overlord lineup. So the Ace is definitely very viable in that sense, but we do enough restanding shenanigans already, so I don't know if it's necessary. Roof Flares are great as well because it bypasses resist if your opponent has a back row, so that is very nice. But that's basically all I would play around with. The Great I would play around with, but grade 1 and grade 2 slot I think are pretty much solid. I think Overlord has Kagero, sorry, not Overlord the clan. Kagero has always had a lot of great options. And you need to pick and choose what works for you, but this is what's working for me. I do like the strike in. It can hold me back a little bit later into the game, but just for the situation where you whiff the coin flip and you're going first, at least you have some pressure with the crit and the power. So without further ado, let's go into a game or two and see how this deck performs on the ladder and hopefully show off some of these big plays. So of course, you have many other skins, but if it's Overlord, you have to go with Kai, right? You have to go with Kai. Let me move this up a little bit. And of course, as you can see, the second list I have right now is the Spike Brothers from the most recent event. I do want to spend some time playtesting it. The event just ended. I frankly did not pay too much attention to it, but I did get 2 GRs and all the pieces that I needed. I have not tried a single game yet because I'm mainly spending time on the global side of things. So Kagero stuff mainly tested for the last week or 2, but most recently, the last like 1 or 2 days, I'm ramping up for the winter circuit. So here we go. Game 1, we're going to be playing against Fishmeat, playing Pale Moon. So I hope I'm not dead fish here. The Legend is fine. I don't know if I put too much weight on the break right here, simply because our opponent's Pale Moon's unit can just zoop Magia and go back to the... Ooh, it's let me turn on the animation. It is Silver Thorns with the OG starter. So most decks prefer the new one from set 15. Numbers are hard. I don't remember them anymore. But this one, the good thing is that you can keep using it as long as it's not retired now. So I guess that's a good thing. Deck thinning is deck winning, right? Not for this deck. We're gonna lose when we go to 0. All right, just gonna 7 into 7. They got the right grade 1 that they want. Zelma. So that's nice for them. Marchika, they got the little 9+3/+3s. Alright, attacks. And now they can use the starter. They not really useful Marchika here. Depending on what they soul charge, I guess. Alright, 7k. I guess they can build 14 and then they can build. Yeah, they can use the Marchika. Call out the 7, put down the starter, build 14, and then the right side is 16 plus 6, 22. So they could, if they wanted to bully us, they could still do it right now. Actually, can they? That's only 14. I guess just using it just to get the soul charge 1. Try to thin out the deck. There you go, another Zelma. Can't hit, but that's okay. They're prioritizing getting the pieces rather than pushing right now. So again, going second, we're not riding this. We're not riding this at all. Killing this is pretty good. I like that. Let's just do that. Berserk. Kill off their combo starter. Calling out. I might save the 10k for later. Just calling this. Draw trigger's nice. That means we're guaranteed to pass. Drawing into the heal, rather heal, but honestly not bad. One defensive is better than no defensives. And just push. One of the great things about this matchup is I'm not worried about our opponent having retires, so Cardinal can just sit there, wait for its moment to shine. I don't need to immediately evacuate my boy. But our opponent did heal, which sucks for us. But let's see what happens. They don't have the Lukie in the soul yet, so it's still an 11k base. Alright, they still have another Ana, so I guess that retire doesn't really matter much, but I still think that it's the right play. I'm using the Ana here. They could do some Zelma plays, tuck that grade 1 into the soul, call it grade 2, boom boom boom, push us to 5. This is really scary. And frankly, up to this point, all the plays you can still see on global. So I did make a Pale Moon video. If you're interested, you can go check that out. But of course, with GSET 5, you have a lot more support with more generic strides, I guess, in Silvertone's case. But you can see how deadly they can be. And no heals. So a little lacking on the defense department here. Oh, they have the Luki as well, so that's 13k base. That is a little bit, very, very much annoying. Not a little bit annoying. Alright, I'm gonna ride the Overlord here. Just because we're not playing against Magia, you know, the likelihood of them having the front row is more likely, so there we go. I want to start pushing some damage. But I'm not sure if my reverts can actually hit the numbers. I might just go with the on hit here. Just to kill out the Ana. But of course our opponents, LB4, they can always spawn out the whatevers back to their hand. So it is annoying. I'm just gonna duck and search for a PG. Just gonna hit. Flip over the harmonics. Again, it's really flexible, like your Mustafas, your Vortexes, they all need to flip something. They don't need to flip themselves, which is, I think, much more balanced than G Persona flips. Kill up the Ana. And hopefully slow them down enough so we have a turn of big moves. So we did set up GB2, we have our break ride. So let's see what we can do. Of course, this amazing skin came out during Valentine's Day. Global can expect to see this next month. Which is fun. Oh, okay, very fun. Marchika here. Okay. That's one more PG down. They did show one of the damage, so that's nice. Very nice of them to show us that. We have 2 intercepts, we have 2 PGs, 1 heal lord. Is this enough to survive? I really wonder. Calling out the 11k, they can always just Zelma it, so it doesn't really matter. But they do need the 11k number to hit the 10k intercept, so. Alright, Zelmaing the 11k, calling out a 9k, intercept. Marchika. The good thing is they're out of Marchikas in their soul. They don't have a Marchika and an Anna in the soul. So that does make me feel a little bit more reassured. I don't know if we can survive a turn after this though. I think next turn is the final turn. So let's do it. Let's make those big plays, big moves, and try to finish the game. Do a little BM because... Here we go. Top deck. SP the legend. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Alright, we're gonna use this skill. We can't use the Cannon Blast because we don't have a Cannon Blast. So we can't do the plus. I need to save my Counter Blast. Discard Overlord. Draw into Stride Fighter, that's not good. It's okay. Call. Battle. Vanguard attacks rearguards, we get the first restand. Triple drive, very nice. Power to here to hit the 13. How many triggers do we have left? We have 4 triggers left. Discarding the Stride Fodder, because PG good. Come on, draw 2! PGs! No! I would rather trigger check you. Come on, draw trigger! Draw trigger! Heal trigger, good. Pump it all on Vanguard. Draw trigger, very good. All in! Come on! No, they healed! No, they healed. Do we do it? Yeah, we do it. Let's do it. The legend never dies. The legend never dies. We have the 2 PGs. Draw trigger. We can strike next turn. We can Mustafa, or we can Noble Express. All right, nice. We turn this around 3 to 5. 9 drive checks. Isn't that crazy? 9 drive checks. 9 drive checks. We're both down on deck count though. I don't think either of us plays Legion units. So what we see is what we have. We need to be careful with that little count there. We need to be careful with Counter Blast, but they also need to be careful with Counter Blast. So it is a little push and pull, little struggle for the fight. But the good thing for our opponent is that they're only at 5, we're at 3, which means we can take 2 damage. We're down to 5 cards in deck. So it is a little bit spooky. Alright, just calling out the Zelmas just to pump up the upright lines power. Keep thinning the deck. 12k. How many triggers left? 2 draws and 2 heals. Ooh, I don't know if they want to heal though. With that low deck count, if they heal down, it could be dangerous. How many PGs did they show? 2. Okay. And we don't have any heals left, so yeah, if we hit 6, it's over. 100% over. They're gonna do their thing. Superior calling the starter. Oh wow, they're gonna go commit to that deck thinning, his deck winning strategy. Not even gonna focus on the multi attacks. I mean, they have the Anna. I forgot about that. They can tuck the 12k in, call out the 12k, and that's another attack. I love the roulette animation. I love it. It looks really clean. Alright. No more triggers left in deck, so their numbers don't really matter. They can hit over it though. Alright, draw trigger. Okay, that's a PG. Okay, this is it. They could still have heals though, but I don't... Do I think they have the grade 3 in their hand? That's the question. What do I have? I don't have Berserks. Novel Express. 26. They could just use two heals though. I think they're thinning for the heal though. That's my feeling. I think they're trying to thin for the heal, trying to draw into their pieces. And at this moment, I think Noble Express is the play. Yep, we're gonna use the skill. This is it. This is it. I could have used the Tars to pump up the power for 33 to hit +8, 41, but I don't know if it's necessary. And that's game. 100% that's game. It's over. That's it. Boom. I wish we had that noble nullifying heal animation, but I will take what I get. A W is a W, and that's it. So well, it sucks to say this afterwards, but I guess maybe our opponent had like one heal guard maybe, or no grade 3s in hand, maybe it's still in the deck. So it is what it is. Guard Strict's good, but I don't think we would have won that game with Mustafa, given that our opponent still had 4 cards they could have guarded with. Mustafa would have not been enough. So let's go into game 2 against Narukami with an Naoki skin from Halloween. So that's really nice. It's a blast from the past. We're going first. Striking is a great option. Keeping the Stride Fighter just in case we don't see any grade 3s. Going into Blade Master is still fine. Alright, we see the Sparking Dragoon. I'm gonna go first. Alright, just gonna ride the Tar. Pass. Even if we do ride Striking, we can still use the Balakasti play, just Balakasti on the rear guard, retire the Conroe, and then attack with Balakasti, right? So, it's not that bad. But generally, I like to commit into the guard, the damage that I play. Like, if I'm going Striking, don't give me the combats for the Sparking Dragoon. You know? Just let you sit there. And I will need to use the skill though. So unfortunately, we probably will go into Blade Master this game, just because RNG is not in our favor, but that is just what it is. That's just how it is sometimes. Alright, going into the Desert Gunner. 13 hits 10. They're gonna whiff that heal. I guess even if we dealt that damage, it wouldn't have mattered. Oh, the 2 key using the damage. That really... Oh! Overlord. 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 In this matchup, what do I want? I mean, they do have resist, so let's just go into the Overlord. But now they know we have a grade 3. I guess it's just Stride Fodder, right? And that's fine. It's fine that they know. It's fine. Overlord. Just gonna use the skill. Just gonna pick up a PG before they all go to the damage, because apparently it's the hot place to be. Gonna call out the countercharger, just to help us make sure that we hit those 19k numbers. Overlord skill requires us to have more rearguards than our opponent to get the +3. So just push. He'll put them to 3. They're gonna draw 2 cards through this interaction with the crit and the draw trigger. And they're gonna have a lot of options this turn, so hopefully they don't run us over. Vanquisher, as expected. Luckily we don't play any Legions in this build, because Vanquisher is still very punishing with the bind mechanic. Play the 10k on attack, on hit, counter charge. So it is a decent option. Definitely played around with it as well. This is the Zoro, I believe. When it hits, retire something, prioritize in the back row, and then bind 2. So we're gonna say bye-bye to Conroe. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. The Chitura here is great. Helps them on hit. Caramast 1, draw 1 with GB1. just calling out the intercept just because it's an intercept, I think that's perfectly fair. And also they have such a big hand, you know, might as well just plop something down. But given this grade 2 lineup we're seeing so far, I'm not expecting them to actually play the resist. So maybe the Blade Master was a myth play. They're seeing 3 heals already and no Vermilion in sight, so that is something to consider. Ooh, we drew into the legend, but we don't have GB2 active yet. So let's go set up GB2. Let's go set up GB2. Mustafa? Mustafa retires the front row, and then we're trying to get some more shots to the face. Yeah, these are fine. Flipping over the Mustafa here is fine. It's especially finer if we expect our opponent to play the resist, the Terok roller. But I do think that just saving it, I think that one retire would not hurt. Just heal, right? Just heal the counter charge. Alright, pushing them to 4. Alright, tipping the scales back in our favor. Next turn, they're going to push us to 4 or 5, and we can break ride and do that big play again and show them the power of the Overlord. Alright, going to another striding with the 10k, so I'm not expecting the legend, the Vermilion plays anymore. Still going to the triple rear stride, no conquest, feels bad. This is how it feels to be free to port. Maybe they're saving it for later, or maybe, yeah, if they had 4 copies, definitely just go for it, right? Pump up the numbers, try to push. I don't think they have the 4 copies, and it really is punishing them right now. You know, if they had 4 copies, then both front rows could have attacked Vanguards, front row rearguards, all of them could have attacked Vanguard. And, you know, Chitoro would proc, the grade 2 rearguard would proc, the Vanguard would proc, depending on the attack order. But right now, only the Vanguard can attack. The Chitoro and the Vanguard will proc. It's not a big deal, but the extra power would have definitely pushed or asked for lethal instead of just put us to 5. Defensive draw is very nice, feels alright. Binding 2 doesn't matter to us because this is it. This is the legend play. So let's give it our best shot and go for it. The legend break ride skill. Just use it because it's free. The legend, think about it because you do need to spend time last, but it's okay. We'll donk it. Sure, why not? Shitso 5, add something to our hand. Ooh, we did get the grade 3 that we need. So generally add the break ride to your hand because, well, the legend can still do something. You can always still discard it for, like, I mean, both you can discard for stride, but the legend you can re-ride and do something with it, I guess. So just more utility. Calling this. Oh, this is rough. Calling this. The legend needs to attack rearguard, so be careful with that. With the break, right? If it's just pure the legend, you don't need to. So we're gonna whiff, but we do have quite a few draw triggers left, so hopefully we see something like that. Draw 2. Okay, hit. I'll retire. Why not? Attack. Draw trigger? No? Okay, now this is a tough spot. Do we go for it? Do we go for it? Because if we go for it, we could lose out on... We could lose out. It could be rough. It could be rough. Do we go for it? How many PGs do we have? 1 PG, no more heal guards. It is rough. It is scary. It is scary. But I think we gotta go for it. We gotta go for it. We do get to draw 3. So hopefully we draw into PG. Yes, we did. Alright. Perfect. No more triggers, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, we do. We do have a trigger. Alright. Sorry about that. That's gonna be PG'd. But it's fine, because we drew into a PG ourselves. We have 2 Berserks as well as an option. And the next turn we could redo the legend play. We could always try into Novel Express like last game. We can Mustafa to clear out the front rows. There's a lot of options. Let's see what we end up with. So our opponent calls out the Stride Fighter, choosing not to stride. Okay, that's interesting, but okay. Just going to go 3 to the face, but luckily we have 1 heal guard that should defend against one of these 16k columns, and then 2 PGs to defend against the Vanguard and another one of these rear guard columns. So we made it safely, and next turn is the final turn, hopefully. So they did show 9 triggers so far. We know they have crits, heals, are grade 0s, but the question is, what is their trigger distribution? What's their grade 3 trigger distribution? And if we go into Novel Express or Mustafa, I think Mustafa is the play. We retire 1, we use Berserk to retire the next, and then we go face, right? Yeah, I think that's the play. Just retire. We can always go into this as well. Go into Mustafa. The other one works as well, but Mustafa gives us an on-hit counter charge if we somehow hit and our opponent 6 damage heals. SP Berserk. Clears out this front row. Retire the unit that retires. Mustafa skill. Flip over on hit. Retire front row. So we have 3 shots to the face. Hopefully we make it count. Counter charge in the Vanguard, I guess. Battle 15. We have no triggers, so it doesn't matter. We're just hoping they don't have PGs. They have 1 last PG. Do they have it in hand? If they do, they win. If they don't, we win. Can we please make it? Please? Yeah, it's game. That is over. Mustafa wins us the game. And that is it. Beautiful. So, super clean games. Went exactly how we envisioned it. And not bad. So I guess for both games we did get to showcase the break ride play with the legend. 9 drive checks is really formidable. Is it a bit janky? It is. It is. I don't think that this deck is super meta. Especially given the other meta decks in the meta. Like, what we're trying to say is the deck does do a lot, but given that a lot of the decks in the metagame have maybe resist front rows or have front rows that just dip and much more aggression compared to our deck, something a little bit slower like this isn't super competitive at the very top level, but even so, as you can see, we can still have a lot of fun, it can still do a lot of work, and it can still win games. So when I'm talking about like fun decks as a label, like I'm trying to say there is a spectrum of what is fun, and this deck is definitely at least in the middle and closer to competitively viable than your, you know, Alfred decks or whatever. So that is, I mean, I don't even know if I can use the Alfred comment since they did get support recently, and I haven't tested them. I haven't even seen them, so I can't really say. So I might need to retract that one. What I'm trying to say is like super old decks, they're fun, but definitely not something you can probably win with on ladder. This is definitely something that you could try on ladder, you could still win some, you would probably lose some, but you'll have a good time. So let's just end it off with that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the members, Camaway, Nova Grappler, 2Mellow, ZBD, and Kisi for supporting the channel. Thank you for liking and subscribing and supporting our channel. We hit our target, and hopefully we can hit our next and more and stride forth. So that is basically it. I hope you enjoyed it. Videos will be a bit slower recently, and for the next few videos, just because I'm trying to get more practice in the winter circuit, I'm not confident. I just need more time. So I hope you understand. I hope you stick around and check out more content. Maybe watch some old stuff if you're interested in seeing some history or some other options. But thank you so much again, and I will see you all very soon, hopefully. This is your cue to click away, click the like button, maybe subscribe, click one of these videos, say bye, and yeah.